So we can just go like this, and you have registration, right? Why take, why take something that you don't need to take? But still, some people. Shireen is here, Assembly Member Johan Claes. And then we have these guys. And then we have this cute Susan. And then we have Anne. Sweet Anne. And then we can go here. Then we have Shashi. He's right here. And then we can go there. Sunita ji.
Thank you.
Suchitra ji. Joya. Hello, Joya. May. Hi, May. And that absolutely. Okay, that's our Barbara. She's the chair of Chamber of Commerce. Now, what we do.
Ready? One, two. Okay, thank you.
Motion video.
Okay. Oh, it's about.
Yeah. That's Edward Martin. And thank you so much, Edward, for taking the movie. Really. It's going to go on the website, and we'll make sure that it's under your name. Yeah.
I understand there's going to be performance.
Lena. Ashok. It's beautiful.
Sound is okay?
Everything is fine.
Okay.
I think that's just beautiful.
There you go.
Then we are out of balance. We often blame human nature. I acknowledge that sometimes there is a tendency to be fearful of the unknown, of what is different from us. But human nature, my friends, can also be loving and compassionate and all-embracing. I believe that we in the United States are living an incredible experiment. We have an opportunity handed to us by our founding fathers who in their infinite wisdom were able to visualize a nation where we have people from all across the world coming together and living in relative peace and harmony. True, we do have issues of racism, prejudice, bias, but that is the downside of human nature that we want to overcome. And it is one that we can and we will overcome as more and more we begin realizing and living in that sense of oneness. Programs such as tonight allow us to look at our differences, not as differences that set us apart, but as attributes that strengthen us, that make us richer, and make our very existence more meaningful. I would like to salute the founders of this organization for their efforts in bringing people together so that we can look at each other with new eyes and marvel at the colorful mosaic that we create by coming together. So let's give them a big hand. At this point, I'm going to close by borrowing the words of a visionary, John Lennon. I would ask that even if you have heard the song before, just sit back and listen with new ears and let the words and their meaning soak into your very being. And I promised my daughter I wasn't going to sing it, so I'm simply going to recite the words. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be one. And ladies and gentlemen, your being here this evening is a testament that we share this dream. So thank you for giving us your presence for this evening. At this point, we're going to celebrate with the American anthem, and I'm going to invite Miss Lena Z to come up and lead us.
में जागे, तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तब जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे, भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे, जय हे, जय हे, जय 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 हे।
Thank you. You may be seated.
It's my proud privilege to welcome you all this evening. On behalf of Indo-American Community Federation, I want to thank you all for participating in this unity dinner. Indo-American Community Federation was founded by Jeevan Joshi 11 years ago with the vision to promote unity and diversity. For all these years, he worked very hard to promote this cause, so please give him a big round of applause. Last fall, our organization held a multicultural festival in cooperation with Ohlone College, and it was a great success. I want to thank Ohlone College for that. Today we are gathered here to commemorate the 50th anniversary of this beautiful city of Fremont, and we want to thank Celebrate Fremont Committee for all these efforts. Now I would like to invite Vice Mayor of this city, Mr. Steve Cho, to speak to you. Thank you.
Bob Wasserman, the mayor of Fremont and the city of Fremont. Bob wanted to be here this evening as well, but he's still at home recuperating from his illness, and at least he made it back to council last night, so we know that he's on the right footing to come back and lead the city again. But it gives me great pleasure tonight to come to this event to participate, because the theme unity is something that we just came back from Washington, D.C. 2 weeks ago at the National League of Cities Conference. And the theme of this year's president, Jim Hunter, from Virginia, his theme is inclusive community. And I think he would be very proud if we send him pictures of this event and tell him what we're doing here in Fremont, to let him know that we are trying to do the program that he's promoting throughout the country. And I think Fremont, and as well as Tri-City, is kind of the model city that the rest of the country is going to follow, because we are demonstrating tonight, as well as every day throughout the year, how best to include and be an inclusive society. And I think based on the diverse cultures that we have here, we are a living example of what he is trying to do throughout the country. So I would like to congratulate Jeevan Joshi and the organization for putting on this event again. I think this is the 4th year that the event is being held. And I'd like to just thank everyone for being here tonight and participating. I do have a proclamation to present to, who's going to receive this now?
Jeevan, would you like to come up?
Oh, he's making his way up.
He's on his way up.
I think this is a proclamation well deserved, and we present this with great honor to you on behalf of the city of Fremont. So I'll wait for you to get up here.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Chow. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite you now to enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back shortly.
the recovery of his health. 1956 marked the 17th year of the pontiff's reign, and Pope Pius also celebrated his 80th birthday, a true milestone. Beauty also had its day. In Atlantic City, South Carolina's Marion Ann McKnight was crowned Miss America. And in Long Beach, California, beauties from around the world gathered and saw Carol Morris of Iowa named Miss Universe. Tiny Monaco took on epic Hollywood grandeur when film queen Grace Kelly was greeted as she arrived for her marriage to Prince Rainier. In a wedding of worldwide interest, the old world and the new were joined in a union that hopes to establish a new dynasty for the Principality. It was election year in America, and Adlai Stevenson, former governor of Illinois, became the standard bearer of the Democratic Party at its Chicago convention. A short time later, the Republican convention was held in San Francisco and made short work of its nomination. Their choice, President Eisenhower. As returns rolled in on election night, the result was never in doubt. It was a landslide for the Eisenhower-Nixon ticket, as Americans gave an overwhelming vote of confidence to their leader. And in the West, a new city is born, as the 5 small communities of Niles, Mission San Jose, Irvington, Centerville, and Warm Springs join together as one. In an area once referred to as Washington Township, the founders have named their fair city after the Pathfinder. Fremont is California's newest jewel. Fremont is incorporated on January 23rd, and just after midnight on the morning of January 24th, Judge Alan G. Norris swears in Fremont's first city council. Councilman Michael J. Overacker Jr., Wallace R. Pond, Mayor John L. Stevenson, and Councilman Bruce Michael and Winifred Bindle are eager to serve. Fremont citizens leave the morning meeting ready to begin building their city. How exciting it might be to visit this fair city in 50 years and see its achievements begun with this first step.
Yeah!
Milestone, acknowledging that, and in our own way trying to celebrate that. There are some things that never change. The first city council had 1 woman. Our city council today has 1 woman. But there are a lot of things that we can be proud of and what we've achieved in the last 50 years. And the idea of celebrating the 50 years and looking to our future is how this all started. Celebrate Fremont was an idea that was born about 18 months ago, when a small group of community members got together in the Chamber of Commerce office and tried to come up with this idea of how we should celebrate the 50 years at this milestone. And that today has grown into something that has touched almost everybody here in this room and in the entire city in one way or another. And this Celebrate Fremont organization is sustained by a huge group of volunteers who are passionate about Fremont, a place they call home, and also passionate about the mission statement that we all came up with, the idea of cherishing our past, connecting with our present, and creating a legacy for our future generations. I'd like to acknowledge a lot of the volunteers that are in the room, and I would like for the steering committee of the Celebrate Fremont to please stand up. Dominic, you can't sit down yet. Stand up. These are dedicated volunteers who find the extra 5 hours in their day beyond their extremely busy days. In addition, there's also a group of volunteers that have, in some form or another, been part of Celebrate Fremont, and I'd like all of the volunteers to please stand up. Oh, there's more of you. And this is done in partnership with a lot of different organizations and agencies, including the City of Fremont, the Chamber of Commerce, and several other groups in the city today. And our main theme is to have fun doing this, connecting with people, making friends, but reckons back to what we are talking about today, unity and diversity, celebrating our diversity and being united at the same time. The rest of you that did not stand up will now stand up because you're all future volunteers. Give yourself a big hand. We are not done yet. We have a big event planned for September 9th and 10th, and we need a lot of volunteers to help us plan this, put this together, and make it a big success. And so I'm going to recruit every one of you in this room to help us with this, and just have fun doing that as well. And the reward for all the hard work that you're going to do is opportunities to do more good work. So thank you all, and have a great evening, and I'm hoping that a lot of you will get involved and celebrate Fremont and enjoy being part of the city as much as I do. Thank you.
Get closer.
an activist, a leader. She's part of Coalition 2001, and they have been working very hard to promote diversity. What we are doing today, they have been doing it for a long time. Let's give her a big hand. Congressman Mike Honda, Insurance Commissioner John Garamendi, who had to leave early because they have a debate in Santa Clara Convention Center. I'm delighted to be speaking to you today, and I'm particularly grateful to all the guests to share our thoughts with each other this evening. The city of Fremont has been one of the defining cities of California. Its achievements are numerous, and its citizens have gone on to contribute in promoting diversity. What's very heartening for us is the close link the city of Fremont has developed with community leadership and other institutions. The school district, Ohlone College, and other institutions of learning have developed programs which are very essential to promote understanding amongst diverse groups. This year, it's the 50th anniversary of the city of Fremont. The Celebrate Fremont Committee put together one of the largest events, bringing together our diverse community to work in a spirit of celebration and cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue to face the daunting challenges posed by lack of understanding of each other. There are opportunities that we should optimize as we still try to instill more content to the relationship and to create a more secure and stable environment. IACF is dedicated to furthering the cause of education.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote honorable speaker today, Congressman Mike Honda. Proudly serving the Silicon Valley, Santa Clara, and Santa Cruz counties, Mike has become a well-respected politician, actively involved in all levels of government. A former teacher and principal, as Andy mentioned, Mike began his career in public office as a member of the San Jose City Planning Commission. Over the next 20 years, he has honorably served in a variety of positions, including the Santa Clara Board of Supervisors, California State Assembly, and U.S. House of Representatives. When in the State Assembly, Mike was instrumental in passing landmark legislation in education.
First time I've been to a function where I saw a couple of Asians dancing salsa moves to country western music, and then ending up doing the electric slide. I mean, that's pretty cool. And I always thought Asians were shy and bashful, but it doesn't seem that way, I guess, when it comes to dancing. And it's really great to be here. And weren't the dances great? And the folkloric that young man that danced the folkloric, I used to look like him in 1956. And to Fremont, happy birthday. When I saw that clip up there, I said, I remember 1956. I was 14, and in 1959, wasn't that the year that Highway 17 was built? And we bypassed Irvington and Centerville and Eden Township and Fremont. It used to be an old Oakland highway that used to go through. You had to hit all these communities before you hit Oakland, on the way to Sacramento. So we have grown. We have grown and we have changed. And as the councilwoman suggested and pointed out that the city started out with one woman and ended up with one woman. But if you look at the demographics, you know there was a lot of changes. You look at the pictures that were put up there, you know there was a lot of changes. A lot of changes that occurred over the 50 years has made us stronger, wiser, and more prepared for a global society. Let me just say thank you to the kind of person that he is, that he picks up and continues the kind of work that he envisions for our communities. And I think that that's really a good mark of a community activist. And thank you for continuing that work. The Indo-American community is not a new community. They've been around for over 100 years. In Yuba City, as farmers, the Sikh community were there. And I know that a lot of people think that Norman Mineta was the very first Asian American congressperson, but to set their record straight, when in 1953-54, when we got rid of the anti-Asian laws in this country where it disallowed us to become naturalized citizens, when that law was eliminated and that barrier was taken down, the very first Asian American congressman was Dalip Singh, Dr. Dalip Singh. And he was the very first, and he served, I believe, 6 years before he passed away. And so we are here, and you are here. It's just that our system has not educated us of who we are and what our contributions are. And I think that the piece on education and diversity and educating our youngsters is an important one, because those of the folks who write the textbooks and history books are the ones that really teach our youngsters. And when we have better textbooks and we have a greater diversity of writers and contributions to our teaching of our history, then we become more informed and less misinformed and better prepared for the future. I'm speaking as a teacher. And when I was doing some of my studies, I found out that the kinds of efforts that we had on the West Coast about language equity, making sure that we have teachers that represent our communities, that we respect our religions, that those fights were not new. On the East Coast, the Italians, the Irish, the Jews, they all fought for those kinds of things in their school system when they came over from Europe. And it was a difficult fight. It was a political fight until they got onto school boards where they were able to start changing the nature and the culture of how children were being educated on the East Coast. And somehow we forgot that history. And when we look at history again, I was in Colorado last week, and I saw a plaque in a train station. The plaque in the train station said something really nasty, but it was there for a purpose, for people to see and read and learn. And it said something like, you know, Irish, Italians, Portuguese, Spanish, Chinese had to sit in a separate part of the station, at the train station in Pueblo. This is 2006, and we know better today. And yet, when we talk about unity in diversity, we talk about diversity, then we listen to our politicians talk about border control, immigration. For me, as a third-generation Japanese American, it starts to ring kind of hollow, because when they start talking about and targeting an ethnic group and saying things like national security, talking about economic impact, talking about words that engender fear and anxiety, it tells me that we still have some work to do. It tells me that us politicians have not changed some of our techniques to detract our attention away from the real stuff like the economy, real domestic security, education, health, and tranquility. We start to look at negative things and it engenders fear. And we really don't look at immigration as if it were a complex issue. It's not about people coming across the border without documents. That's only a small portion. If we ask ourselves, what drove them from their homes? What drove them from their families? What drove them to the point where they have to cross a river and then deserts and risk their lives? it wasn't an excursion. It was seek a better life, that many of us came here with papers, you know, to seek out. And the whole thing is, and I just want to spend a little bit more time, that we're looking at a very small population, an economic sector of that country and of the countries south of the border. And when we look at our trade practices, we sold surplus corn to Latin America, to Mexico. Corn happens to be the cash crop of the campesinos. So when you supplant their cash crop, what are they to do? They have no income. And so we have to be smarter on this side and look at all the things that we do that impacts immigration, drives people to move. And so I would ask our communities to look at the issue, not the way some of us would have you look at it, but look at it in a more global context of there are reforms that we have to make in our entire immigration system, such as family reunification. Many of our families are here legally and waiting patiently to have our children join us. And yet, when our children become adults, they gotta start all over again. Or we lose papers, then you gotta people that make them move in ways that sometimes they don't want to. So this group is a very enlightening group, and I think that it doesn't take much to have you sort of step back and see the bigger picture and say to our government and to our leaders, do a better job. Think deeper and be more complex in your solutions. And that gets me to the issue of diversity. The word diversity sounds contradictory when you say unity, but like it was said before, you know, a tapestry is a bunch of threads of different colors woven together tight to create a rug, a tapestry. And that's what that unity really means. But what does it mean in terms of many of us who aren't political life? This is what it means. Those of us who understand our history, our personal history, our family history, the trials and tribulations that we all went through, whether you're Portuguese, Chinese, Indo-American, Sikh, Black, Latino, Irish, Jewish, all of our history had some sense of discrimination and oppression. And our families put up with it. And our families really thrived as families and overcame a lot of those barriers. But this country tried to make us all blend in together, become homogeneous. Because the old phrase, if you're going to be an American, you got to speak English. Well, no one denies that we have to speak English in this country. But we have to make sure that as a society that we nurture the languages that we bring with us. And if we still have it, pass it on to our children and encourage them, even though they don't want to go to language schools on Saturday and Sundays. You know, when they're 23, they'll appreciate it. They will. I would have. I lost Japanese. So now I'm Mexican. And so language is an important component of this thing called diversity, because language is the vehicle of transmission of culture and understanding. Language and its words help us understand the subtleties of language and each other's behavior. We can describe things and describe each other better. And so we have to struggle in this country to fight the English-only concept that Senator Hayakawa pushed. That we have to resist that and embrace the language that we have. Because what is it? A lot of people, when they're older, wish they had the language so they'd be more marketable. So if you got it, keep it and nurture it and let it grow. Because in a global society, it's necessary. In this room, if you speak another language, you're able to trade and move in other countries. There's an old Spanish saying, Mexican saying, cada cabeza es un mundo. Every head is its own world. If you speak that language and you walk in another world, So those of you who are multilingual, walk in many worlds. What is it they say? If you speak 3 or 4 different languages, you're a polyglot, right? If you speak 3 languages, you're a tri. If you speak 2 languages, you're bi. If you speak 1 language, you're what? An American. We're an hour past the hour that we're supposed to be dancing. So let me bring some of the ideas to some closure. This whole issue of diversity as policymakers and people who support policymakers and what we do best in this country that will make us strong, vibrant, engaging, and elegant is when we don't forget who we are, where we came from, what we went through. And when we start developing public policies that we take our personal lives and translate that into public policy and fit it in so that the greater amount of people will be impacted. If you speak a language, you understand what that means to other people, so you respect it. If you have another religion, you cling to the constitutional principles of separation of church and state. If you come from a place where speech was not free, you cherish that. So, in closing, let me say that diversity is important, that we remember who we are, that we convert all that private, personal experience into public policy. Our constitutions tested always times of terror, tension, trauma, and tragedy. And to the extent that we internalize the principles of the Bill of Rights, the principles of the Constitution of fair play, due process, civil liberties, when we internalize that as politicians, as individual citizens, we will be able to stand up in the face of public approval when it's wrong and be able to say, no, no. And so, to this wonderful community, I say congratulations, because each one of you have more starch in your shirts than anybody in any community that I know in this country. It's always great to come home, because I know that this is a place where it's friendly, people understand who we are, and that we can hold our heads up high and say, this is where America really exists. We are the cauldron, the cradle of democracy. We are the cauldron of progress for the future. And from us will come children and generations that will make us proud, so that the Declaration's final phrase, to form a more perfect union, will come true. Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you, Mike, for your words of wisdom, as always. We want to present you with a special award tonight. And I'm going to ask Dr. Krishna Reddy, Jeevan Jutshi, and Dr. Albert Wang, Alameda County Supervisor, and Scott Haggerty to come up here and present the special award to Congressman Mike Honda.
Alameda County Supervisor Scott Haggerty, Dr. Albert Wang, and Dr. Ram Ramachandra, please. Dr. Ram Ramachandra.
Okay, I'll be out there. Give me 2 minutes.
This award is... Hello. This is being presented to Congressman on behalf of 2 organizations. Indian American Friendship Council, Dr. Krishna Reddy, and our organization, Indo-American Community Federation. Thank you.
Has never
Ashok, our Director of Operations, to be here with me. Thank you.
County, and I served 35 years on the city staff in Fremont. And you notice in the picture they had that BART train sweeping right across there early on. I was pleased to see that.
I'd also like to congratulate the people who have put the Celebrate Fremont together. It's been very difficult, but my wife and I often think that because we were married in 1956, that you're all here to celebrate our anniversary. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations for all of your hard work.
We certainly want to thank this organization for recognizing Celebrate Fremont. It's a work of love for most of us that are involved, so thank you so much.
Excuse me? Turn the lights on up there so we can see in the back.
Thank you. Again, as a proud resident of your neighbor from the south, San Jose, I have to say Fremont is a beautiful city, in more ways than one. We have one more honor that we're going to award.
Our third honoree is Fremont Chamber of Commerce, and I was thinking that before we start the Bhangra, we might request you, Fremont Chamber of Commerce, to be with us. And Cindy. Barbara. Would also like to request Assembly Member Alberto Dorigo, Dr. Harnish Kumar, the FIA Chairman, Anjali Lathi, the Union Sanitary District. Anjali
50th anniversary. And we find that the three major issues that were of concern 50 years ago are amazingly still the major issues that are of concern today. That is housing, development, BART, and transportation. And of course, then we look forward to another 50 years of continuing strengthening our efforts and contributions during the next 50. So thank you again for this recognition. We're very honored.